Hello, welcome to today's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. Today we have special guest Malachie Smith from Chills on Haverhill. Can you tell us about yourself?
Uh, Chills on Haverhill and me, it's just all about Halloween and scaring children's and my wife Sarah, and just like to go out and have a good time.
Cool. Now, how long have you guys been doing this?
It has been on and off probably for 5 or 6 years, but it's just started getting a bit more serious where the props are getting better. We do homemade props. It's really starting to become something that I could see myself doing, very long term now.
Cool. Now, tell us about the actual I guess the actual Chills on Haverhill.
So I like to use the term free roam haunt. We don't like to exclude anybody. Basically, there is no entry. There is no fee. You come up to the house like you're trick or treating, and somebody somewhere is coming at you with a chainsaw.
Cool. Yeah. What got you started in this?
Family. My uncle would make a lot of the props, and I would just see how much fun everybody was having with it, and then I started building bigger things. I've got lawn spiders. Our wedding last year, I built an altar with a 4-foot spider on top of it. So we use the altar in our haunt now, and it just kind of grew just from family and just kept stepping up every year.
Cool. Now I asked all this stuff with putting together a haunt. And do you do themes every year? Do you just go with whatever? Just it's all over.
Pretty much all over. I mean, we're not clown set. I know a lot of people, they like to do the Carn evil kind of deal, but it's just about scaring people. I feel like if our props are good and our people are good, and we can just keep doing the same thing every year and just keep hiding in new spots like the cops do on the highway.
No, what made you decide to do it at like a free roam hunt, like a free? What made you decide to do that?
Everybody's doing walkthroughs, man. If I see some kid on a bike, I want to get them. If I see a group of teenagers that are dressed in the purge and they think that there's something else, I want to get them. I want their feet to float while my 6 foot, 230-pound butt runs after them. Who says big dudes can't move?
Oh, I'll tell you, I got to do a haunted corn maze years upon years ago, and I believe the people who got the scared the most and the fastest was grown adult men. They would knock their girlfriends aside to get, and I didn't jump out, I didn't do nothing. I would just stand there, and I had the old school real gas mask, so all you could hear is me coming. You hear the
nice,
and then all of a sudden I'd be behind them, and they would drop and run. I've legitimately seen guys go like this and push their girlfriends aside and take off running. And the best ones were kids. Kids weren't scared of nothing. Kids.
No, it's crazy how much that they can actually take. But you got this 6'4" like diesel dude, and he gone.
Oh yeah. The I have to ask you this because I actually was able to scare somebody so bad. He ran, and the corn maze went like 45-degree angle, just doom doom doom, and then it went another place. Took off running, didn't stop, ran into the corn itself. Instead of taking the corner, he jumps up and he runs. He's holding himself. He goes, "I just pissed my pants," and he runs off.
That's the biggest compliment you can get as a haunter is I peed myself, I crap myself, I got a bloody nose, and I mean, dude, I had a Navy SEAL almost lay me out one time because he thought that I was some sort of animatronic until I jumped and he just went like this. His wife was laughing so hard.
What made you decide to do it for free?
Scares are free, man. You know, why limit it? You know, if there's little kids, like I have a personal rule. If the kid is like 7 or 8, that's a little touchy. But if the parents are just like, look, my kid's a dick, go get him, I'm like, hey, don't gotta tell me twice. I got 5 chainsaws behind me that say otherwise.
Nice. Now, do you work on all your like stuff throughout the year before you get to where you're at? You know, like get all the props ready from Halloween to Halloween?
That's kind of a difficult question. So yes, my plan is, hey, I'm gonna start building stuff in March or April, and then it turns into August, September, and then it's like, oh hey, you got 2 weeks until Halloween. Get off your butt.
I would say from January to March, he's physically drawing up ideas, and then from like March to June, he's pricing out supplies, and then July is usually like the magical start time where he's got everything laid out in the yard and he starts assembling everything.
Do you go to like the spirit store like the day after Halloween to go buy
Oh yeah.
product?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if we can get some blood 50% off, sure.
Yeah.
Halloween, I'll coat myself with half a gallon of blood, just let it drip down my face, my hair, and oh boy, does it get them screaming.
Yeah, it's blood for him. It's home decor for me.
See, I always made my own blood. I was one of the ones that had the recipe and made it. And first year I had a big full beard at the time, and I didn't think nothing about it. And I put it in my mouth because it's, you know, all safe, and I went, you know, just let it run. And then I forgot about it, so my beard was like red, like a,
See, I thought about doing the corn syrup thing, man. I don't know. It's like you get this little Gidget bottle, and it's like I got the Meron from Amazon, and that stuff worked out really well. It never dries. It just gets super sticky. That's what I have on right now. But I don't know. I can't seem to get a good recipe out of some good fake blood that I really enjoy.
The best one I ever did was, I hate to say this, but the Conan recipe for the Conan, the original Conan movie. Basically, you make fake blood and put a bit of vodka in it.
Really?
Yeah, because they kept freezing, and you would put it, and it never like really thinned out or nothing. So I was like, I bought cheap vodka one time and mixed it in with my fake blood, and I made like, I don't know, like 10 gallons of it with one, like the cheap bottle, and it worked well. So, you know, but I was also running it in a really cold Halloween that year, so that's one reason why I decided to do it. So
Hey, I like recipes. I'll send you some pumpkin cookies if I get that blood recipe.
I'll see if I can find it. It's been a long time since I've actually made fake blood, though. It's, you know, the Cairo
Hey,
syrup.
10
What?
gallons, let's do it.
Yeah. My whole thing is that I haven't done anything at my current location, and I'd really like to do something at my current house, but I live in a pretty um, uh, uptight neighborhood somewhat. So I wanted to hang like I wanted to hang bodies from the tree, get the like the body bags that have them hanging from our tree out front. And my wife's like, our neighbors would freak out. We have neighbors like a block away who would love it, but the neighbors on either side would hate it. So
hey, go for it. It's 1 month a year. Outside stuff is 1 month. I mean, I would just go for it. Let them know who you really are.
my favorite one was my old apartment we lived in was next to a funeral home.
Nice.
So I talked to the morticians and stuff there all the time. Well, one time they had a broken coffin, and I dragged it back home, And my neighbors were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Nothing." And I just dragged his coffin in my garage. I slammed the door and I just looked at everybody and went back inside the house.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't think those neighbors did not know how to take me at all. And my neighbors here don't really know how to take me either. But so, um, so I have to ask, what horror movie, if you could pick one theme, what horror movie theme would you go with this year? Texas Chainsaw?
Ah, this is my big brute. It's a 1970 McCulloch Super 250. It's a 87cc chainsaw and it is loud as hell. So they're ripping and the tearing, as they say.
Nice. The we would sit there and build props and stuff and get stuff ready, and we were getting ready to try to do a all year round hunt at one point. Would you ever consider doing like an all year round, like maybe like find a place and being able to run an all year round hunt?
Yep. Because I mean, scares isn't just for how. Trust me, if I see a teenager that had just got their license and they're texting on their phone, that's scary enough. Let me come at you in the dark.
Oh man, the being a big Halloween fan myself now, and I would love to be able to do something like you guys are doing. But like I do so much other stuff. I don't really have the time. Everybody's like, "You're starting another project?" I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm starting another project. Um, do you ever set up camera? Do you ever set up cameras or anything to catch everybody? Like just to get it all on film, I guess. I mean, not film because film doesn't really exist anymore, but to get it out
I
there.
wish kind of miss that grittiness of the actual film, but last year she did start going around with her phone and she was videotaping me going through places. I'll walk through the altar and I'll just start wandering the yard going after whoever, and sometimes I'll do like a quick pull of the chainsaw when it's really warm and quick cut it off so they don't know where I'm coming from. And we're hoping that we can get cameras next year, like get some GoPros and hook them up to the altar, hook them up to other different props that we have, and that way we could really start seeing what we need to work on and what works the best.
Well,
The other thing is too, he has several stage, like theatric quality fog machines. So once within 30 minutes of those going, the whole block of the neighborhood looks like it's on fire. So he could literally be standing in the middle of the yard and you would not be able to see him because there's so much fog just from the bottom to the top of the yard.
that's always fun. I'll tell you what, if I can find them, if not, I have some stuff I had worked on because I'd gotten hired briefly to help create some haunts for all year haunted house, and we started building stuff, and then the funding fell through and stuff for this guy. But yeah, it I had a grill I built, so it looks like you could throw a person on it, but it had a rotating light inside of it so that it always had the like flickering and stuff like that, and you had the speakers inside of it, so it sounded like it was like cooking, and then we grab people and throw them up.
I love that.
It's super easy because as long as you can get like 55-gallon drums, you just cut them in half and make it, and there's no fire, it's no heat. But also, if you put like a fog machine inside, or you can have smoke coming outside of it and put them in there. We had the walkway where we had people underneath it, so their hands would come up through the walkway.
I've seen those like with the pallet boards, and it looks so cool.
Yep. And we had it, so we had bright lights that we had built. So when people would walk over, all you see was the bright light shining up underneath it, and there was people that we'd put underneath it. The only problem is they had to lay, because if not, we'd had to dig legitimately like a 5-foot hole in the ground. So we were like, no, we're going like 2 foot. So you got this much, just lay there and just pull your arms out like that. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of fun talking to you because with you guys doing this now, you remind me of what we started working on years ago. And, you know, we had a guy who was going to buy this house. He was going to run it, you know, every day from like mid-September to the end of October. He was going to run it every day. He was going to run it every
Nice.
weekend the rest of the year. And he had big plans. I think he got way ahead of himself. And the plans were not, the money wasn't there. Let's put it that way. So,
Oh, that's unfortunate.
but I got some good ideas out of it. So I guess down the road, I might use them for some.
Hey man, as long as you got them stored, you know, you can use them anytime. And just remember, Christmas can be scary too.
Christmas is probably the scariest holiday there is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you walk up and you try to buy an Elmo and somebody maces you.
It's ridiculous. At least it ain't as bad as it used to be. But I my wife conned me into going to a Black Friday at Walmart one time. Except for it was like on
Nope.
it was the Thanksgiving night one. And she's like, I was like, man,
Uh,
I'm getting hungry. I wanted something like to eat that wasn't turkey. And so she's like, well, let's go to Walmart. I'm like, I don't really want to go. And then I was like seeing this, I'm like walking around. So the first thing I do, I'm like, I'm like recording all this stuff. And I'm like waiting for it to happen. And then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, I was like, I gotta use the restroom. I'll be back. And no sooner did I walk to the restroom, come back, she goes, oh, you missed it. Like, I missed it. Two women got into a fist fight over a picture frame.
Oh my God.
Damn it.
That's awesome. Like, it sucks that you missed it, but it's just like, now you know, like, it's real.
My goal is that I want to, I own a video game store and stuff like that. So I have these broken consoles. I want to get a like PS5 box or an Xbox One S box or whatever. And I want to fill it with parts on Black Friday and like walk out to the car, set it on the roof of my car, and then just drive away with it on the roof of my car and just watch people freak out. So when it hits the ground, all these parts go everywhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I love just messing with people and I've I have a blast doing it because it's wrong and it's funny. But no one really gets hurt. So
Yeah, see, I mean, it's not like you pretend to cut your finger off and then you accidentally really do it. I mean, whatever.
oh, the best thing is when you get really good at this stuff and you do some really cool stuff and I'm one of them kids that learned relatively young how to do special effects because I don't know if how you are. Were you one of the ones that like, you know, got the behind the scenes magazines, the movies, all that stuff?
Yeah, I was anyway.
That wasn't me. I just started learning stuff from monster makers online. Like, I got the acrylic tea set, so I had the VHS tape, you know, trying to make those. And well, I mean, my uncle was doing stuff, so I just figured, hey, I'm gonna mess with clay, latex, and things, and see where it goes.
See, I was I don't know how old you are. I'm almost 50. And so I was at the edge of the when they were doing all the VHS monster makers, the Tom Savini stuff. You would get the magazines and they would have like how Kevin Yeager built Chucky and stuff like that. And I started like building my own stuff back in the day. I built a hand that worked so that you could lay it off the side and you'd move your hand and it would move and you know all that fun stuff. And I think it's fun when people are still using the old school stuff. And that's why I had to ask if you guys were one of the ones that kind of were going back to the old, but you were going online. I wish I would have had online because I'd have been a horrible child if they would have had the internet when I was a kid.
It's like, I don't think we have any animatronics at our thing. I had a 6-foot skeleton that I made him 8 feet. All of my yard spiders, they come up to my waist, and you know, most of it is PVC and foam. I bought some creature reachers, the Halloween costumes, the giant masks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Made some PVC skeletons for them, and now they stand at, I think it's like 109, 110.
Nice. We building all this stuff, do you ever like tweak it, go back, man, nah, I need to make that better. I need to make that better.
Every year.
Every year.
Every second of every year. Nothing will ever be good enough. Nothing will ever be perfect. There's always some way it can be better. To him, I think it all looks great the way it is, but he's never happy ever.
Well, what is it? No project is ever finished. It's only abandoned. Is
Yeah. Yep, and it's abandoned in the attic until 2 weeks till Halloween.
or do your neighbors like sit there and they're like, what's he dragging out now?
Yes. Yes.
I think the biggest thing. So last week I did work on my creature reacher things, but the main thing is I've been trying to tune my chainsaws. So you hear chainsaws going on left and right, and it's not even cutting; it's just running them,
just revving them.
I kind of want to run down the neighborhood, but shot.
You ever get the cops called on you?
Not yet.
We've been very fortunate with that. Yeah, we haven't. My mom called the cops on me once for it. She thought I was leaving the chain on the chainsaw, and I was like, no, like we don't do that. Maybe we'll put a bike chain on there, but I like touching people with it because it really freaks them out, the vibrations.
Oh yeah, that works so well. The you ever get the one it's got the rotating blade, like the big circular saw blade? I've seen people take them, like they've cut foam. So this blade will come at you and you just see this thing spinning, and then once you hit it, it's like, okay. That's scary.
I see that with concrete saws, and I'm like, I gotta get me one of those. I got a problem.
See, you guys have gotten so lucky. I've legitimately had the cops called on me because I was playing Star Wars with my kids when they were little. Somebody called the cops because there were flashing lights. I'm like, I'm playing lightsabers outside with my kids, and I get the cops called on me.
Wow.
Not in this neighborhood, but I could definitely see it being in this neighborhood. Yeah.
That sucks.
Oh, dude, it was, and the worst part about it is I wish it happened now. Because don't get me wrong, my kids are all but one of them are adults, and but if I would have been able to have what I have now, dude, the cops would have showed up and I'd been a full stormtrooper costume. I got the good lightsabers and everything else like that. So yeah, it would be so much funnier to have the cops call on me now.
You open the door and you're holding the gun. You're just like, "Can I help you?"
Yes. Come out to the door and like, hold on. Yeah. As I don't know if you can see, but there is multiple stormtroopers over here, and
oh yeah,
yeah,
nice.
The one that's right here, the black one is my is the one I have a full set of stormtrooper. I have a shadow trooper armor. So we.
Oh wow.
Yeah. The neighborhood did not know how to take me a couple years ago when I took my son trick-or-treating. I was walking out and I'm full stormtrooper costume, got my walking.
That's awesome, man. Hey, let them look, let them take pictures. It just looks cool as anything.
Yeah, and then last year, the year before was stormtrooper. Last year was I have full Sith costume, so I did that. And every little kid was freaking out. And this one little kid comes up dressed up like Darth Vader, and he just stops and he stares at me. And I looked at him and he's like, "You're a Sith." And I went, "Yes, my apprentice." And I thought this kid was going to cry. But I have so much fun in Halloween time, even just doing the Halloween costumes. And you guys, doing something that cool for nothing, just having fun with it and getting the word out that people can come by your house and see having all this haunted stuff. That is awesome. I mean, I can't stress enough that this is just, you guys do this for the love of it, and that, out of the, kindness of your heart to give something back on Halloween. I so wish I had a prop heart, because the kindness.
Oh, that is awesome.
I just like making people uncomfortable. I don't really like scaring them anymore.
See, that's kind of like the whole part of it. It's like, I don't even have to do anything. I mean, if I take this mask off, it's worse, but geez.
Just walk out and just take the trash out. Make sure you got the biggest garbage bag you can, and just throw it over your shoulder in the garbage and put the lid down, and just kind of, and then walk back in the house like nothing's going on.
I have considered, because I'll walk like really early in the morning, taking a trash bag, wrapping it up, and going out walking like this, and just walking the trash bag behind me. Just like, because there's people trying to go to school, there's people going to work, but I mean, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, you see something like that, you're just gonna go back inside and call out. At least I hope.
I got lucky. I got these ginormous garbage bags. My dad got them from, I want to say, Tractor Supply. These things are legit like 6 foot long, and they're probably, they're massive. I was like, man, I just want to like make one of them dummies where you make it out of like milk jugs and stuff.
Yeah.
And to put it inside that and just drag it out and just heave it into my garbage in my recycling bin and put the lid shut. And the worst part about it is we have neighbors who watch what the other neighbors are doing. So I just think that would be fun.
Oh, and if you had it right, where you had like a blood pack on your hand, so as soon as you slam it in the trash can, hit the side of the rim so there's blood pouring down it.
Yeah, you just, oh my God. The best part is just leave. We would take make a gallon of fake blood, and we would just trail it and just leave just blood trails places, and people would just like, what the hell happened here? I don't know.
Yeah.
And they go, nothing.
Oh, and it's better when it snows, because then they're just trying to look to see where the footprints are. It's like, put a little bit on your shoe, make a couple of footprints, and then just cover the rest of it so it looks like it snowed over them.
Oh man, it's I love talking to you guys right now, because I'm remembering doing mean stuff to people, and
thanks, man.
Yeah, and going out and just bringing Halloween to people is I think that's one of the things that we miss nowadays is and I'm really showing my age, because I always say, when the neighborhood I'm in now is technically the neighborhood I grew up in. I live like 3 blocks away from the house I grew up in. Not on purpose. This is just the house we found that we really liked, and it just happened to be 3 blocks away from the house I grew up in. And we would have Halloween. You'd have the people that would set up in their garage. You had, I mean, even if it was something really silly and basic, you had the people who, you'd have to go in their backyard and they'd put trash bags up. So you'd have to kind of walk through there, and they would scare you, and then you'd get your candy and leave. And nobody does that anymore. I mean, I would technically do it, but my dogs would not do it. Well, the wife's dog would not do it. My dog would just be all happy that there were people there. So, but like I said, we would, and trick or treat didn't last just 2 hours. It would, it started about 5 o'clock, and when people would run out of candy, people would start turning their lights off. But
that's what I hate about it, man. Like, the holiday is so limited. Like, okay, we got Christmas. Like, because no one really celebrates Thanksgiving except for eating, but Christmas, it's like there's Christmas stuff all over the place right now. You celebrate up until the first of the year. It's like, why can't we trick or treat all day? Like, let the kindergartners and the preschoolers go in with their costumes and their buckets, do trick or treating or trunk or treat in the class. Let them get off school. Let them go and do what they got to do. And if they feel like filling up a couple of pillowcases of candy, let them.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
I don't see the harm.
No, because
Yeah, and even not for very long, but halfway through elementary school for me, we were allowed to dress up and go to school. And I think that's completely done and over with now. It's probably not allowed.
well, you had all the schools that at least locally they did away with Halloween and they had Harvest Day, harvest
Yeah.
parties and stuff like that. I'm like, it's
Oh,
Halloween. Stop ah just let the kids have it. And they would let kids like, dress up sometimes. And then as my kids got older, it just sort of faded away. It was like one year it was there, they were allowed to take and dress up, and then the following year it just kind of ended and never went back. I mean, I remember dressing up until we went to freaking high school. There were kids still dressing up in high school, and like I said, I'm old, so I remember doing it.
hey man, I'm 28, and I should have been a teenager in the 70s. You know, favorite car is a 70 Chevelle 454 big block. It's like I want to be rolling in that thing, loud and proud American muscle. Like I don't know, times were different, and it's just like you watch all these movies. Say Halloween, for instance, and it's just like I don't know, things seemed calmer and less hectic, aside from the serial killer that came up in your small town. But nonetheless, you had small mom and pop shops. You didn't have like these giant Walmarts or Kmart's going around. And I don't know, simpler times just seemed better.
Well, with Halloween and trick or treat, I've seen this. We would go and take my kids who are almost roughly your age. Uh, the we would take them trick or treating. Literally, my oldest is older than you. My oldest is 30. So, and my youngest is he's upstairs. He's 12. So, but you know, my son loves trick or treating. He's 12 years old. He has autism, and he's plans his Halloween costume like he's been Mario. He was gonna be Mario. We asked him back in August, what do you want to be? Mario. Asked him in July, what do you want to be? Mario. Didn't matter. Now he's got his Mario costume. It's upstairs. He's gonna be Mario. But he wants me to be Luigi. And I'm like, and my
Oh,
wife's like,
dude, you got this.
I keep thinking about it, but I'm like, man, I got a costume that that I haven't got to wear yet. So I got an expensive Spider-Man costume that I legitimately lost weight and got fitter just so I could wear it.
Wow.
Don't get me wrong.
Nice.
Don't get me wrong. I go to the gym a lot now, but it was one of the ones where I'm like, I gotta lose the gut, which I didn't get rid of, but we'll fix that. So yeah, it's not a cheap costume, but I love going to Halloween. And that's another thing is, man, I remember being a kid and you'd go trick or treating, and the adults with the kids would be all dressed up, taking their kids trick or treating. And now you get like 1 in 100 if you're lucky. And then there's me walking around. I'm taking my kid trick or treating. I don't care. A couple years ago, I was Godzilla. I had that big inflatable Godzilla costume, and I took that. I've done Star Wars, and then that. Now I'm like, oh, I got Spider-Man. I'm gonna do Spider-Man this year. Now, hopefully it isn't cold, because that costume will suck if it's cold.
Thermals.
Oh my god. Well, it's super tight. It's a full like super tight Spider-Man costume. It's like I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but it is like comic book
Leave
accurate.
nothing to the imagination.
Yeah. So, but with like I said, you guys are 28, and the fact that you guys still love Halloween, that you want to bring Halloween, that I wish there was more people like you out there that would continue you know, you got the people who like, oh, it's Halloween time, I'm going to go to a party, and that's the end of it. They go to the Halloween party and it's one and done. And yeah, that's fun. You know, I like going to Halloween parties, but do have it the rest of the year, man. Have fun, go out, hang out, take, you know, hand out candy as a monster, whatever you want to do. Go to your, you know, I remember my first job. I worked at a no, damn. My first job. I worked at a grocery store. We would dress up on Halloween and work.
Oh, see, they don't do any of that anymore.
No, my first job was at a store in 2005, and I had to work on Halloween. We definitely didn't do that. I wanted to, and they just said it wasn't allowed. And that was a mom and pop grocery store too.
Man, no, man. Just let them have at it. Holy crap, man. Just have fun. Yeah, it's I like I said, I don't know your neck of the woods there. I don't know exactly where you guys are at. Do you want to give us I guess don't give your home address, but give us locally where you're at.
So we live in Newport News, Virginia, which is it's about an hour away from Richmond, hour and a half from DC.
Yeah.
So we do our hunt in Virginia Beach, which a lot of people know because of the ocean front and stuff like that.
Which is where it originally started. He lived in Virginia Beach and then moved out here after we started dating. So it all started at the same location that it's currently being ran at.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we pack everything up, go to Virginia Beach every year.
Yep. All Virginia.
Yeah, I was just in Hampton a few weeks ago.
Convention Center.
Yep. Were you guys there?
Yep.
Yeah, because you did an interview with Paul and David Naughton.
Yep. Yeah, I did. I actually got more, so I'm gonna put your guys's, and I'll probably put a small one at do this one, and I'm gonna do another one. I'm gonna drop 2 this week, and the other one should be I think Mike Regan, and I got Eddie Munster and Bonnie. Why am I drawing a blank on Bonnie's last name?
You got me on that one too.
Yeah, she's look her up online. She's Bendy Bonnie. She's the on Twitter and Instagram.
Morgan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. And yeah, that super nice groups of people, man. The guys, I got to hang out with the guys from Hellraiser because I was set up across from the entire weekend, and I just sat there and talked, and we just bullshitted the entire weekend, and finding out like Gary Tunnicliffe was telling me all this stuff about all these different people that he worked with, and he's like, you know, people will tell you a lot of stuff when they don't think you're paying attention when you're in the makeup chair. He goes, so they're getting ready doing the makeup and they're just talking and talking and talking. And you're not supposed to really talk back to them, but they'll just talk at you. And he goes, that's how you really find how people are. And it was so much fun. He was a blast. Mike was a blast. Paul was fun. Daniel was fun. I'm drawing a blank on his name now. I got it somewhere, but he was the guy set up in the back corner, and he was the one that owned the Dragula. He did like practical effects for movies, so he was like the ones that would blow up cars and stuff like that. Oh man, he was just having fun. Yeah, he was telling me stories, showing me stuff on his phone. He's this is us filming on Outcast on AMC. This is where I worked on Walking Dead. He's like scrolling through all his pictures.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. That was fun. That was a fun weekend, just sitting there and I'm not gonna lie, I got a little disheartened because Saturday, like no one wanted to do any interviews. So I'm literally just sitting there kind of like, okay, and then I would they'd get bored, we'd get bored, so we talk, and then I'd go sit over there while they're waiting on, I'm talking to a few people who are like asking who I was, like if I was important and stuff. I'm like, nope. just the guy that does a podcast.
It's very important that information.
And I gave a lot of my information out to people. The other one was I had one person recognize me because of my other show. I do a Saturday morning cartoon show, and this guy said we're talking about it, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh shit, you're Captain Cartoon!" I went, "Yeah, I am." I was like so happy that he recognized me. Like
that's awesome.
What are you doing, dog? I fanned out on myself and I hated it, but I felt good at the same time.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, no, it's bad. We're telling all these stories and stuff like that. With you guys putting this all together, do you have a Patreon or anything like that to help raise money for like the next year, or do you take donations? Or
we haven't taken anything. It's, you know, if we really want something, we will go to the bank, take out a loan. If you know, we just want to save up for, you know, whatever, PVC or something like that, just a couple of paychecks, and we'll just go up to Home Depot, Lowe's, you know, whoever, and sometimes we'll be able to pick up pallets behind Walmart. Those are usually free, you know, because they're just sitting there. Even Lowe's and Home Depot, they'll have scrap 2x4s in the back. If you just ask them for any like rough wood, they'll just give it to you. It's just stuff that they can't sell.
yeah, now. So I'm gotta edit this again, but whatever. So you were saying you can go to Lowe's, all that stuff to get free lumber and whatnot. They just go up and go, yeah, damn. I didn't know that. I knew people that worked there. So yeah. With doing this, would you ever like think about putting like a donation box or anything out, like a, you know, throw $1 in there if you really like what you do, you know?
So we've had the idea. Can't tell you exactly what the idea is because it's for next year. But we would like to set something up where if they feel like it, sure, but we're not going to twist their arm and say you can't come in, because you know what, I would love it if people just walked in and they paid me what they felt was right. You know, I do the same thing when I do auto mechanic work. If a friend asks me how much to do my brakes, pay me whatever you think is fair. You know, I think the barter system is also a really good thing too. It's like, hey, you want to bring me a gallon of blood, or you want to bring me a gallon of fog juice and enter in the hunt? Absolutely, because I'm just going to use the money on that stuff anyway. So, you know, cut out the middleman, cut out me using gas to go to the store.
Heck yeah. The like I said, man, I cannot praise you guys enough for doing this for nothing. That is amazing. I think you guys deserve something for it. But no, I like I said, I if I could, like, you know, build you a donation box and send it to you so you can like put it out on a pole, like build it like an old haunted house, and then put like, you know, donations accepted. People go over, put $1 or something in, man, help us out. So now I got to get to some of the hard pressed questions here.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Your favorite horror movie? I'm guessing Texas Chainsaw.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then what's yours?
That's oh god, that's hard. There's so many.
Puppet Master.
That's one of my favorites, not all-time favorite. Honestly, if I had to pick one, it would probably be Hellraiser, the original Hellraiser.
Did you watch the remake?
Yeah.
I thought it was good for what it was. I don't feel it was. It didn't feel Hellraiser-ish because
no.
yeah.
Not at all. Like for this day and age and the culture we live in, yeah, it was good for what it was. But when you know the ins and outs of the original and you're comparing it to that, there's a letdown. But
Yeah.
I try to go into it with like a complete, like clean slate, open mind.
But it's hard. It is hard. You know, it's like my wife gives me crap because I watch every reboot, whatever, and then sometimes I'm like, oh. Sometimes I'm happy. You know, like I like the remake of Friday the 13th. I like the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah. There's some really good remakes out there. Even the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix, that was really good. That was super gory, but it was really good.
Yeah. Well, that didn't need a remake. That's supposed to be a direct sequel to one. So it ignores everything from one to this one. And
I did not know that it was connected that way. So that makes it even cooler because it's just a piggyback. So that's nice.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be like a 70-year-old Leatherface. And you know, like Sally is now, what is she? Because the worst part about it is I haven't even watched it yet.
Right.
Wow.
That's right. I forgot all about that because
Just boom.
Yep.
All over the place right now.
I'm and the worst part about it, this is the season everybody's like, well, we watching horror movies, and I'm legitimately this year for some reason all I've been doing is watching old horror movies. So Universal and Hammer is almost everything I've watched this year. Yeah. All right. How old were you when you got started in the horror movies?
my age is disturbing, so I'll let him go first.
Well, no, I think I was 5 or 6 when I had first seen the original Pumpkinhead, and it was Thanksgiving, and I was like, "What is this?" So I was like, "That's cool as shit!" Like all you see is this giant pumpkin monster coming out. Like, hell yeah! So that kind of ruined me.
Yeah. What's funny is I joke around is it's like I saw inappropriate movies at inappropriate times.
That's me. That's probably what's wrong with me today.
Oh, I went about a year or so ago, and I finally got a movie that I hadn't seen in forever, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, I watched this when I was like 10. This is not appropriate for a 10-year-old. I was a latchkey kid, man. I went home and we watched, you know, we had Cinemax and HBO, and my parents didn't get home right away, so I watched inappropriate movies, and the ladies at the video store loved me, so I got to rent whatever I wanted to rent. So, all right, I got to ask you this because I ask usually a horror host and stuff like that. I usually ask if they could be on your show, so I'm gonna ask you if you could meet anybody in horror. Time and space does not apply. So if you could bring somebody back from the dead to meet them, who are you meeting?
Ooh. He done got me with this one. Huh. Oh man, you're gonna have to cut out a big part of this one.
Well, I know for me, and like, I mean, it's not super like ancient, but Tony Todd, I've always been like enamored with him. If I could have gone to any of the horror cons where he was there, I would have paid whatever amount of money just to, you know, get an autograph picture and a personal picture with him.
Yeah, Tony Todd's definitely one of the people I'd love to meet. Yeah. And
I don't know. Like I really don't like. So I mean, if I can meet like Robert Englund, sure, that's cool. But it's like that's like just like grabbing out of thin air. Like, okay, I'd like to hang out with him. I think he's a cool guy. Like, I don't see a problem with it. But I don't think I have that sole one that I would completely lose my mind over. Is because like I've just taken from so many different people. Like I mean, somebody comes up to you and he says, "You're gonna die, bitch." All right, well, that's a pretty good line. The other dude is making weird sound effects and he's got a chainsaw. Okay. You got Silent Bob walking over there with a butcher's knife. Like, it's so hard because you just start taking pieces of everybody.
Okay. Another question. If you could take and you could afford, money's no object. You could put one scene from a horror movie into your haunt. What scene are you putting in?
The bedroom scene from Freddy.
With the gimbal and stuff? With the
Yep. Like that one I knew.
I would probably do the other bedroom scene with the blood geyser. I think that one would be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, when he got sucked into the bed.
Yeah. So what would yours be?
Probably the Achilles tendon slit from Hostel.
You know, I know that one's bad, but the one that gets me every time is the pet cemetery. The little kid in the back of that makes my leg hurt now.
Yeah, that got me when I first saw it, and I mean it always has, but the worst thing about the Saw one is they get slit and he gets up to walk off and you just see it. That whole movie messed me up anyway. I blame that movie for my fear of anything happening to my eyes. That's when that phobia started.
No, for me, the eye thing is Zombie. With where they're pulling it and then the eye gets closer and closer. You're just like, it's all slow mo. Oh, it makes my eyes water now.
Yeah.
Oh man. So are you amped for any upcoming horror movies?
So we actually just saw Terrifier 2, and that was fantastic. I can't believe that they've done. I think I saw it was 2.3 million. Like they beat out Maverick. Like that's fantastic because it's a new age of horror, and I hate to say it, but maybe Blumhouse might take some ideas. But we just saw the new Halloween last night. I don't really take it as a Halloween movie, but it was all right.
I saw it opening night. Me and my wife went, just like I said, anniversary. So we went and seen Halloween. And I think it's a good loophole because from what I understand is it's in the contract that they cannot get rid of Michael. And I think that's the good loophole to which, because I don't think that the dead guy that went through the grinder's Michael.
See, okay, all right. Can we talk about that real quick?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Spoiler alert. Do not go past this if you've not seen Halloween. Okay, that's your warning. All right.
All right. So I think it was one of the homeless people that had the mask on, and he got put in the chipper because that other guy was getting all freaked out that got stabbed. But I'm pretty certain Michael is still hiding out in under that bridge in the sewer area.
I don't know if there's been a Michael in a long time. I think that it's just to this. I think it's just passed on. That the evil just kind of leaves when the body gets to a certain point that it's kind of fizzled out because the old man grabbed him and he goes, "I'm Michael Myers," because he thought he was Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And so the one in the sewer was just another homeless guy who thought he was Michael Myers.
Because you can go off of like Halloween 4 and 5 and say, the stars and everything is what really created it, I guess. But that's a really good point.
We the best part is like I said, talking to the guys at that Haunted Screams. Gary worked on one of the Halloween movies, and I had to ask him. He'd also worked on Hellraiser 3 through 10. and I always wanted to know how close they were to making that Hellraiser Halloween crossover movie. And he goes, "No, it's all." Well, there's like Dimension goes, "We have the characters, and both the people that had Hellraiser and Mustafa Akkad were both like, no, 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 it's not going to happen."
That would be fantastic. Like I didn't hate the Jason versus Freddy. You know, I thought for what it was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, could there be a sequel of that because of Freddy's head at the end of it doing the winking? You know, I mean, I would love other crossovers.
Technically, we were supposed to get the crossover, which is Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, and the script got turned into the comic book series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I kind of wondered what happened to that because it was there, it was an idea, and then gone.
It's because of copyrights and all that other fun stuff that they can't get around. That's like,
Oh, wow.
you know, at one point, Platinum Dunes had Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, and I think the Hills Have Eyes franchises, and they did the Freddy versus Jason. Well, they didn't even do Freddy because I think that was New Line. But Platinum Dunes had all three of them at one time and didn't do nothing with which they should have done at that one moment, because you had them all there under one roof and been like, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So the
for sure, opportunity.
Yeah. Go find it. It's online, but it's all the lost Halloween sequels that we never got.
Oh.
And I found somebody, I don't even know if it's still there, but somebody had a PDF of it that I pulled up, and it's all these like lost ideas. Like there's one where there's a Halloween and Michael Myers is killing people at a drive-in, and the more people he kills, the bigger he gets. So legitimately, there's like a 12-foot Michael Myers running around killing people at a drive-in. And I'm like, oh, that's insane. I get the whole fact that they kind of imply he gets stronger and more powerful when he kills people, but to legitimately get bigger is just batshit crazy.
That's a Super Mario right there.
Yeah, jumps on a flower.
Finds a new knife, can start throwing fireballs.
Yeah. Oh my god. Now, like I said, being horror fans, being into this whole, because it's not, it's a lifestyle. People think it's a thing. I was like, but man, I joke around and people are like, oh man, spooky movie time. I'm like, that's every day. I always watch horror movies.
Yeah.
I probably watch at least a horror movie a day, even middle of summer horror movie. At 5 days a week, probably at minimum. But are you like that, or you want ones that just it's all year? It's
yeah.
When people are, oh my god, I'm gonna do my 30 days of Halloween, I'm like, we've been nonstop watching it. Like we'll watch Trick or Treat like 10 times, 15 times, either in a month or throughout the year.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, did you see the announcement? Finally in active development.
Yes.
Trick or Treat 2.
Okay. Daughtry has been talking about that for a long time, and I'm glad that he got to do Krampus. I really am. But I've been wanting this Trick or Treat too, because I've been seeing these little things of Sam like doing like Easter and Christmas and Thanksgiving, like the little clips on YouTube, and I've just been waiting for so long.
Oh man. I got to ask you the question. Film franchises. Which one, if you could touch and handle a film franchise, which one are you going after?
Boy. What was the Chainsaw Beginning under?
That was the reboot. That was the 2004, I believe, 2005.
Yeah. Who was that under? I can't.
That was Platinum Dunes.
Was it the Platinum Dunes?
Mm-hmm.
I would go for that because I feel like
Platinum
the
Dudes,
angle, like I think angles, lighting, like everything just seemed very perfect to have that recreated. I would really enjoy that.
Okay, well, what's yours?
I like Saw for the traps and the gore in it, but the storyline dwindles, away as the further they get into it. But it's a tie up between that and the Child's Play franchise.
But just remember, the ones that did Saw did Malignant.
Yeah.
Not the shoot or anything, but that one was kind of weird too.
I remember watching that. Me and my wife was like, "Hey, there's a new movie on there. It's already on. I can't remember what streaming network, Paramount Net, whatever." We're like, "All right." We watched it. I'm like, "Okay, I like the weird way it moved," and I'm like, that's the same person."
Yeah, I had that realization too, and I'm just like, wait a minute, what are we doing here?
Okay. I got to ask you, where do you stand on Hereditary?
I think a second one is in order.
Yeah. See, I am not a fan, and my friends hate it that I don't like Hereditary.
See, that's up there with The Witch for me. Like, everybody went ape shit over it when it came out, and I watched it. I'm like, it wasn't bad, but I didn't understand the extreme hype to it.
That's why I say a second, because I feel like there's too many holes that are in that first one, and I just want to know more about what's really going on.
See, I wish they would do. Yeah, I mean, if they braced the cult and talked more about the cult that was connected with that would kind of work. But my whole thing was, I thought Hereditary was an intense family drama that they try to shoot in a horror movie in at the end.
Yeah,
and,
I agree 100%.
And the only part I like The Witch because I like the folk horror stuff. Yeah. I like a lot of that stuff, but I like it for one scene where the girl's sitting at the table and the devil's behind her, and he goes, "Wouldn't you like to live deliciously?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's one of the best things I think anybody's ever said ever.
Yeah.
And literally, it's just, you don't even see him. It's just that worked for me. But the rest of the movie, I'm just like, okay. I like the very end where she goes off to be with the witches. Spoiler alert on a 5-6-year-old movie.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I do that. We always do the spoiler alert after we give the spoiler.
Yeah, I would say from that point towards until the end is like the best part of that entire movie.
Now, I have to ask people, what's your guilty pleasure horror movie?
He jokes me for this all the time.
Oh my god!
It would be Cube.
Cube? Oh, Cube's a great movie. I love that movie. Hypercube's horrible.
Hypercube is horrible.
Hypercube is it's a, like, I can watch it. Maybe I'll claim while it's running, but I don't know. I can't really get into it. That's not hard.
The fact that they filmed that in one room with no budget is just stupid good. And the fact they just kept okay,
I can agree with that 100%.
And that's probably why I appreciate it so much.
Okay. What's your guilty pleasure horror movie?
Trick or Treat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that
doesn't count. That's just a great movie.
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's my problem.
So you got to think of one that's
like a B-rated movie,
or just something
D-rated. I don't care.
Typical people wouldn't like, and you don't want to admit that you like it.
See, I don't have that problem. I admit I love bad movies. People are like, "Oh, I'm like, I don't care. I like it. It's horrible. It's bad."
Yeah. See, I don't have the problem where, like, somebody's trying to grill me on it, because I'm just like, I love the effects that were in this, or I loved how they made the blood spew out of that, like that kind of deal. So that's kind of hard, because I don't really have like a guilty pleasure out of them.
The
I do have a question for you though.
Yes.
what is your favorite monster out of any of the movies, whether it be like Aliens or The Ritual, that kind of stuff?
Um, I am a huge xenomorph fan. I love the
That's
alien
me.
from Aliens. I believe that they were they should have ended at the second one. Alien and Aliens are almost perfection.
Yes.
Everything else is just cannon fodder after that. Even though I do like Prometheus, me and my son both are Prometheus apologists. I like them for what they are. But yeah, I love the Alien. I've even told people this. I've had people ask me like, if you could play. I was like, I would love to make an Alien movie because I would go back to the haunted house in space, maybe have a couple aliens and have like, who's going to have guns on a spaceship? You can't fire them. You're going to put a hole in the wall. You're going to die. So you have no, like, very little weapons, and you have monsters. So, and then the other one's probably like Pumpkinhead.
There you go.
Because Pumpkinhead is such an awesome design. Yet again, same people. Stan Winston worked on Aliens and Pumpkinhead. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice, clean work. And the cool thing, like about the Xenomorphs, is I don't know if you can still get them. They were around for a while. You used to be able to get the giant bust of the heads, and you would. I mean, you could set up your hallway with them or whatever, but they were so damn expensive. But it's like, I could take out a second mortgage. I could have like 8 of these up and down the hallway. And hey, why don't we throw some Predator masks on the wall too?
when I bought my Stormtrooper costume, the guy tried to sell me a full Predator costume.
Oh, really?
I was interested till I found out how you had to put it on. And then I was no longer interested.
Very difficult.
You have to get powdered up.
Oh,
It goes on. And I'm like, this dude's already wore it. So no, I don't.
it's been in crevices that I don't need to know about.
I don't need to know that. And it was neat. I mean, because it's I would have been this big muscular thing, and it gives me a lift. So I'd have been close to 6 foot, and it looked neat, but practical. No, I would have never, because you one is you can't go to the bathroom once you get it on. You're done for the day. So you better.
You better get that catheter in somewhere.
Oh yeah, it was neat looking, and I would have loved to have it. I actually thought about buying it just so I could put it on a mannequin and put it in my house. But
It's an option.
I had just spent a bunch of money on a Stormtrooper costume, and I didn't think I needed to spend more money on oh man, it's I would love to. That's another. I'm so glad he did Prey. I need more Predator movies throughout time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
mean, seeing the comparison face to face, I mean, you could see the evolution in it, and it looks so cool.
Oh yeah, I was pumped when that dropped because I'm a Predator guy. I don't think there's a bad Predator movie. I just think there's levels because the first one's perfect,
yeah.
But the other ones are good too. So, all right. So I have to ask this last question here because we've been at this for a little bit. You guys could go back in time and go see one movie in the theater. What are you going to go see in the theater?
Be Exorcist for me.
So you get and it wipes out. Yeah. So you go back and you get to witness it the first time. Yeah. Exorcist.
I gotta agree with that too, because like all the hype that it was bringing at the time, and it's just like to be a part of that. Like I feel great knowing that like we saw Terrifier 2 and like the hype that it's getting about it, but to see The Exorcist back then, and then to like be like, oh hey, we're gonna go to Georgetown and like actually go see the steps, like that's some freaky shit right there, and everything that went along with that film. All the scary stuff, the haunted things that happened, like. That's definitely a good one that I would love to see.
That's cool. The that one of the things that ties back to Exorcist is my grandmother didn't like my mom, and my dad's mom and like my mom, and that's the way I am. The way I am today is because my mom saw The Exorcist when she was pregnant with me. So this is why I am the person I am now. And I'm like, but I'm a good person. I mean, I have 4 great kids. I've been with the same woman for 29 years. I don't get into trouble.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm the bad guy. No.
You know, it's people that are into Halloween and death metal heads. You know, we're like the worst people, but it's like, you know, I'll take a lollipop and a kitten. That's cool.
Okay. You said you're metal. What's your band? What are you listening to right now?
Oh man, I have been on a Slaughter to Prevail kick and a Monomarth kick at the moment.
Yeah. Amon Amarth is one of them ones where I go in phases because
Yeah.
And then right now, I hate to say this, is I'm on a synthwave kick. So I've been listening to like Carpenter Brute and Perturbator and stuff like that. Those ones that are like metal, but not metal. I don't. If you haven't heard of them, go look up Perturbator. Look up Humans Are Such Easy Prey. It starts out with Kyle Reese talking about the Terminator, and then it goes into the music, and it's insane and it's fun and it's a hell of a show. I never thought I would go. You know what I need to go see? I need to go see a guy play a laptop. And I was wrong. I really needed to go see a guy play a laptop. And because man, they Hellacious Light show in the whole 9 yards. But yeah, shit, yeah. What are you listening to now?
I've been listening to Slaughter to Prevail recently and old Slipknot, but it goes back and forth between.
You were on a Lorna Shore kick for a while.
Lorna Shore. It goes back and forth between like the really heavy metal and like goth industrial and synthwave and EDM stuff that he can't stand listening to, but he puts up with it.
I call it her bippity boppity boom music.
Yeah. Combi Christ, God module, you know.
I've seen years ago I saw Electric Hellfire Club, so I can't say a whole lot. But I'm a metal guy from way back. The worst part about I've never seen Slipknot, but I saw Stone Sour and I've seen Zombie 10 times. I joke around that I got to see all the good bands back in the day. So I got to see Pantera and all those fun ones before they all split up. Or original lineups. So I got to see Pantera.
Yeah, I was gonna say like they're saying it's Pantera now. It's not.
Well, they even say it's the tribute to Pantera with and I get it. It's one of the ones that if you grew up at a time and you never got to see them, that's something you'll miss out. I mean, I got lucky enough. My son Joe, I took him to go see Slayer's farewell tour, and you know, proudest dad moment, man. It was him sitting there, and we were ran down to get something to drink, and it was supposed to be Testament, Behemoth, Lamb of God, Anthrax, Slayer.
Oh yeah.
But they moved Anthrax and Lamb of God around.
I remember hearing about that.
And all of a sudden, my son's sitting there, and we were like, "Oh, we're gonna run, go get something to drink. We'll come back." And all of a sudden, he's like, "They're playing Anthrax." I'm like, "What? It's not supposed to be yet." And we run back, and he's getting into it. I'm like, "Yes, yes, proud dad moment." My kid's just sitting there, just yelling, screaming out, his hands up in the air. I'm like, "Yes."
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I also listen to everything from like Clutch to freaking Whitechapel to all everywhere in between. So
yeah, I just can't get into country. I mean, I'll listen to some old rap, but the new stuff, the new country, like I can't. It's no.
There
even
is
some of the new death metal, like with people singing. It's weird.
Yeah. The what was it? We joke around that a couple years ago I went and within a week I saw Whitechapel, some hair band, and like Clutch in like a week. So
It sounds like a good week.
yeah, it's not as good as the weeks back in the '90s when I went and seen Slayer, Megadeth, and Gwar over 4 days,
Nice.
and I had to work on a Saturday. And I think the last show was Gwar on Friday night, and I'm at work and I can't hear anything. Like people are talking to me, and I'm just like, okay, okay. All I hear is beep.
Oh wow.
It was gone. Almost 4 solid days of metal concerts, and my hearing was fried because I was front row at every show. So I was covered in gore and everything from seeing War back in the day. And then I had to go to work the next day. So that was fun. I still had like blotches of red and shit in my hair. And at that time,
like
I wasn't almost
a
bald.
rock star.
What? Sorry.
Like the Mark Wahlberg rock star, like coming in, he's got the mascara on, he's like, I'm in a band. But you covered in war blood and it's even better.
I've done it where I've like ended a show and the show ended at like 2 a.m, and I drove and slept in the parking lot at work to get up to go the next day.
Man.
But now shows are over at 11, so it's kind of sucks. But
Things are different, yeah.
yeah. Well, hey, anything else you guys want to talk about? Tell us, anything else going on or anything else you want to tell us going on, I guess.
I think you did pretty good, man. I mean, like this was a lot of fun, like we're just hanging out outside, like, because when you had messaged me at 8, I was like, oh shit. I was like, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. I've been going 100-mile-an-hour all weekend. I had a comic book show today. I had to get ready for that. I got a comic book collection I bought a couple days ago, so I was processing that. My kid was sick a couple days ago, so it's like da 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 da. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this because I didn't want. I told you guys 9 o'clock, and I'm like, man, I was like, I'm chilled out. I'm mellow. That's kind of when I don't have to be like, I've legitimately been like frazzled and did an interview and I felt like crap. I'm like, I looked at it, I'm like, oh man. And now we're just having conversations.
Yeah.
And I felt so awkward with the one I did that I don't think I've ever aired it because and I'm also not gonna, I did a full episode, did an interview fully on COVID. I was sick as hell, and I still did the interview. And I'm like, and it was ended. I did really good. And so because man, I didn't know you were sick. I'm like, I was dead. I don't know how I finished that episode. And literally, I got done with the episode. I walked over and I crashed on the couch. I'm like, I'm out. I'm done. This is it. And that's where I sat for like 3 days. So, do you guys have a Facebook page or anything like that?
Yeah, we have Facebook, Instagram, and our new TikTok that she runs.
Okay.
That's just getting started though. There's not a whole lot up there just yet, but we're gonna change that soon.
And I'm really bad about Instagram, so everything has been on Facebook so far, which I'm proud to say we went from 39 likes last Saturday, something or other, to almost 200 within the week.
Nice. Well, one of the nice things about it is that if you link them, you can just do Instagram and it does it on your Facebook too. So you can just do it one fell swoop.
Oh,
yeah, I meant to tell you about that.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. You guys are one better than me. Everybody keeps telling me to do TikTok. I'm like, I'm not doing one more thing.
I kept telling her that.
I'm old. I need a break. And my kids yell at me. They're like, Dad, you need to take a break. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I like doing all this stuff because it's fun. It's
Yeah.
it's entertaining. It's enjoyable. You know, like I was saying, we're having a conversation, and you know, we've gone all over everywhere, but you've been able to talk about your thing. We've talked about horror movies. We talked about, you know, so this is fun. And that's the way I like to keep it. It's just a conversation between three people. Sometimes it's only two people, but it's just a conversation. And you don't know
Yeah.
where, in a true conversation, you don't know where the conversation is going to go until it gets there. So, uh, all right. Well, I gonna get ready because the dog's freaking out at the door. So I'm gonna let you guys go out for let you guys go for the night. I'm going to try to have this up. This may not drop tomorrow, but I will try to get it up this week for you, so we can have it up
Yeah.
before Halloween. So
I mean, just let me know. Like I said, like we're easy people, man. You know, I wasn't really expecting the interview. Like if you were completely busy, it's like you do you, man. I'm not gonna be hounding you or anything. I mean, I'm not gonna be, you know, beating on your door like, "Where's my video?" Like, because there's no reason for that. There's too much negativity in the world, man.
no, yeah, you're right. There is, and I tell people, just this is me. I was like, just take 5 minutes out of your day, have fun. Jesus,
Yeah.
too many reasons to be life's miserable enough the way it is. You got to deal with bull crap everywhere. I mean, my whole thing is I watch cartoons and horror movies and read comic books. You know, I've been doing it my entire life. I told my wife, I ran into somebody I went to school with, and they're like, "So what do you do now?" Well, you know, what's going on? I was like, "Well, I'm married, got kids, but pretty much the exact same thing I was doing." I was like, I'm still listening to heavy metal. I still play Dungeons and Dragons when I can. I still watch horror movies. I still read comic books. Except for now, I own a comic book store, and I do this stuff on every time. So,
I'll have to send you some comic books that I have too.
what you got?
Oh man, I'll have to take a look in my box, but I know I got a couple old Spider-Mans.
Nice. I just got a really good collection. Now I'm staring at stuff, and I'm like, I really kind of want that. My kids are like, do you really need that, Dad?
Yes.
Yes. It's stuff I had to sell off when I got injured years ago, so I kind of would like to have it back eventually. So
Yeah.
yeah. No, before we go, one last question. I know I said that before. Do you have a prized piece of horror memorabilia?
Well, you do now.
I do now. I got a picture of David Naughton at the horror convention, and I was just geeking out because that's one of the movies that I started watching at a very young age, and probably 6 is when I first saw it. So that I grew up watching that. So seeing him and getting to take a picture with him and talk to him for a minute, I was totally geeking out. Like I lost all confidence and everything. I almost couldn't even speak.
Oh, that was great.
And he was such a kind of just that's what you know.
Yeah.
He's super chill about stuff, and I had to like I was like, so what were you more? I asked him. I don't even know if this is on our interview, but I asked him. I was like, man, were you more proud of American Werewolf of London or Be a Pepper? And to be honest, he probably made more money on the Be a Pepper because that was a big freaking you know, commercial run. That was a bunch, and yeah, he's super cool guy. He was pretty chill. He just
Yeah, like as soon as he's, signed the picture that I picked out, all he said was "Beware the moon," and I'm like, "That's it? Can I get a picture with you, please?" And then he just got up like nonchalant and came around the table. And I was just like, I wasn't expecting any of that, but he was cool.
Those guys, a lot of them were really chill. I don't know how they were on the other side, but I was dealing with like the 6 people. Yeah, on my side, and they were like, I know I'm supposed to charge to sign that, but you're bringing your own stuff to me, so $10. You know, they're like,
Oh.
Nice.
yeah. I'm like, and the nice part about it is the Mike and Gary signed a DVD that I gave away on my show. So I'm like, hey, do you mind signing? Yeah, sure. And they're just like, I'm like, what are you doing with it? I was like, I'm giving it away, and they're like, cool, we can't charge you for that. So
Nice. That's what I like. The ones that they're not stuck up. They're just down to earth people you can have a normal conversation with, and it doesn't have to be about their movie or about what you do. It can just be something random. It's nice to be able to do that with some of them.
Yep. Oh yeah, definitely. And that was a super chill con, and that's what I liked about it. So, all right. Well, I'm going to bid you guys adieu and have a good night, and enjoy the rest of your weekend that you've got for an hour and 43 or 37 minutes. And yeah, I'll give you a heads up when this is going to drop. I'll do some editing on it probably tomorrow morning and work on it from there. So, all right. Thank you very much.
Nice.
It's good meeting you. And I'm planning on being over in Virginia next year. So come visit me and say hi and if you remember me. So
Definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll have to go grab lunch or a beer or something for sure.
yeah, go get some food, man. I'm all about that's one thing I love about traveling, man, is you find good food.
Yes.
And yeah. I hate to say I don't drink anymore, but man, I tell you what, I found some great places to eat.
Hey, that's perfectly fine. I do one or the other, sometimes both, but hey, I'm all about a good, especially Mexican food. I am all about that.
That's what's bad is literally my favorite Mexican place is like 2 blocks away from my comic shop. So my buddies are like, "Where are we going to eat?" And I'm like, I could use some Mexican." And they're like,
Yeah.
"We just had Mexican." I'm like, "I'm kind of hungry for Mexican."
Every day.
Yep.
Every day would be fine with me.
Yeah, and then I make Mexican food here, and everybody has to put up with me. And I'm like, man, I need some Mexican.
Just never enough for some reason.
Now, 10 years ago, didn't eat hardly any Mexican. Now I love it, and that whole thing. Your taste go in cycles? Is that what they say? Something like that.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. But all right, you guys, you have a good night. Take care, and I will see you all later. And I will drop some stuff, and I will. I'll find you. Send me your links to all your stuff, and I'll post all them at the end of the episode. Okay.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so
Sweet.
much.
All right. Take care.
You too.
We are.